Welcome to Dr. Johnny Williams, International Business Management 402, Section 1. Today we're going to be talking about the growth and internationalizing of entrepreneurial firms. First of all, the definition of an entrepreneurship is the identification and exploitation of previously unexplored ideas. So according to our text, international entrepreneurship then takes that idea and crosses it over international borders to create wealth in organizations. When I think of an entrepreneur, as a matter of fact, I think of someone like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates that kind of thought outside the box and created massive companies that spanned across the globe and affected billions. So, in looking at institutions and resources dealing with entrepreneurship, we have two different views. We have institution-based views and resource-based views. Institution-based views look at the formal institutions and informal and informal institutions, both at home and abroad, whereas resource-based views deal with value, rarity, immensibility, and organization, also known as VRIO. So firms must take the VRIO and take this into account as it considers how to leverage its resources. Both the international-based view and the resource-based view shed light on entrepreneurship, and also both the formal and informal institutions also affect entrepreneurship as well. When we look at formal institutions, for example, whether it's facilitated or retarded significantly depends on formal institutions governing how entrepreneurs start their new firms from the beginning. Informal institutions in entrepreneurship, they're individualistic, low uncertainty avoidance societies tend to foster more entrepreneurs than collectivistic, high uncertainty avoidance societies. So that's all I have to say about this. And now you'll hear from Marlon.
Now I'm going to begin talking about, for my section, growing the entrepreneurial firm. For most firms or small businesses, medium-sized businesses that have under 500 employees, they usually have three major characteristics that are associated with them growing. All three are considered growth, innovation, and financing. So for most companies that are entrepreneurs that tend to grow, growing is something that attracts them in the first place. The opportunity of a challenge is something that excites them, and they're willing to work hard to have something started from essentially the ground up and build it and making it to something of their own. Innovation, it brings a superior profitability and gives them a competitive advantage. No one wants to have something that everyone else has. You taken, for example, out of the book, it speaks about Google making Gmail free, or steadily innovating their hardware system to be faster and more competitive to anybody's out there. And third, we also have financing. Financing, everybody wants to make money. If you're not making money, what's the point of being in business usually? So financing starts up for founders. You have your three F's usually. You have your founders, your family, and your friends. So those are the people that usually somehow influence you in negative or positive ways to get some type of money. For most entrepreneurs or mid-sized businesses that are in third world countries, Indonesia's and places like that, they tend not to be able to actually have money and build from the ground up. So that's where they consider microfinancing, where they usually get up towards $300 to actually get themselves out of poverty and be able to focus on building their company from the ground up. So I'll pass it now to Armighty, and hopefully we can explain the endings of the chapter, and you guys are learning something.
Okay, hi everybody, and I'm actually going to talk about the different strategies of entering into like an international market for small business entrepreneurs, because it's a very important topic, because to break into the international market is quite hard. First of all, we have three different strategies for SMEs to be able to break into that market. They have the option of doing like direct deposits, direct exports. Then we have licensing and or franchising, and the last is the foreign direct investments. What is direct export? Direct exports is actually, it involves the sales of products made by entrepreneurial firms to in their own country to customers from other countries, customers from outside of the country. A good example of a firm that actually started off with doing direct exports is Samsung. You can see, because this is a big company. It was actually originated in Korea, but you can see, but we have the products being sold like everywhere in the United States, in all the different countries, and Nigeria, everywhere you can imagine. But their main the electronics started off from Korea, so they were able to penetrate the international market by having other like little other companies that started off in other international countries, for example like Walmart, Best Buy. So they were able to penetrate into this other market by using their resources available. Another way that small entrepreneurs can also break into the international market is by actually granting through licensing or franchising. And licensing is actually when one firm or a company gives another company, the permission to use their products or to use their name or stuff. Franchising actually gives the other company the right to use their property, like their assets. For example, like McDonald's, we see McDonald's all around. It's a good company. It's known everywhere. Not only in the United States. McDonald's is everywhere, like at the UK, London, Nigeria. So you're probably wondering, this is a very big company. Yes, it is. But but it's based actually, is one of those companies that actually is an example of a franchise, because it's usually is a franchise company, like where you just pay the property right, and you have the building, and you get to use the names, you get to use their color, you get to use everything that comes with with the name. And the last strategy for entering into the foreign market, it's actually we're going to talk about is the foreign direct investment. That's